Every time we asked to count these animals, we're being denied. The RCMP put up a drone and they thought that they were helping us because they are here to keep the peace. And right before Thanksgiving weekend, we had them put a drone up. They were going to give us a count. They thought that would help put the family's mind to ease. And what we saw was them get shut down as well by Canadian Food Inspection Agency, saying that they were interfering with an investigation. Now, to my knowledge, would that warrant a search? There's no investigation. This is a slaughter. So I don't understand how this is affecting an investigation. But why can't we count them? Why is the communication so hard between the family and the agency that is on our land with the animals under an interim stay order? Why is there such a communication breakdown? And why is it so hard to ask them to do the proper bedding? Why is it so hard to make sure that the animals are getting fed their 26 5-gallon pails a day of their grain? Why is it so hard to get visuals on that and just some clarification? Why? Why is this agency making it so hard to get the easiest answers?
Are you confident in any way that they will be charged, the CFIA will be charged for animal cruelty?
No, this is an agency that operates above the law. They make their own law and international law, right? They're involved with the World Animal Health Organization, taking the lead and the directives from the World Health Organization, which then is our One Health agenda and the United Nations. And we're not taking the direction and we're not making the decisions from our federal to the provincial to the municipal levels anymore. And that is another big alarming piece for all Canadians. We need to ask why. Who oversees the Canadian Food Inspection Agency? Why are they making their own rules? Why are they allowed to operate with no oversight? They even go through their own audits. Let's even talk about their audits and their investigation. We have the investigation on just where are the ostriches, and they actually handle their own internal investigation. The RCMP is not really in charge of investigating them. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is in charge of investigating themselves. Could you imagine if we allowed criminals to do that in Canada, that they were in charge of handling their own investigation? I mean, what do you think's what's going to happen? So no, I don't know. I don't have faith that there's going to be any charges brought down that there should be. And again, that's the problem. Let's all keep focused on the biggest issues here, and that is this agency's been operating for decades with no oversight. And this is the first time where they've kind of been held accountable and being watched by thousands and thousands of people. People have been watching them break their own policy and their own protocol. People have been watching them not break their own code of conduct, watching them break their own mandates. So what do we do? I mean, it's the age-old question of the day, I think, on this Monday morning. And it is Miracle Monday. I always say it's Manifesting Miracle More Monday. Every day is opportunity to be filled with miracles. But what do we do? What do we do? And who do we go to?
Well, I think one of the reasons I was filled with some degree of hope when I talked to Jerry Ritz last week was that he not only said this is a problem that's persisted for many, many years. And this is a rogue agency. We probably have a rogue government as well, but this is a rogue agency.
Yeah.
But he said they won't test the ostriches because they say it costs too much. He says, that's crap. We have a system in place. They could do it today.
Yeah.
And it might cost $100,000. And he said, but hey, that's what this operation is probably costing. And I said, the estimate I had last week from Grok was about half of that. But I think Jerry's probably got his finger on that because when he was minister, he knew exactly how much these people were costing him in the field. And I think he's adjusting that for the 15 years since. But $100,000 a day to keep the CFIA and the RCMP in your backyard and your aunt's backyard so they can't pick the garlic. And that to me is another outrageous example of how this government doesn't give a damn about anybody except their supporters. But here's what I'm thinking. This operation is not sustainable, Katie. This operation is not sustainable. And it's becoming And I think this is something, and we'll talk about this later. This is something I think that needs to be discussed more. Has become Mark Carney's million, $2 million, $3 million boondoggle. Because the longer these people are there occupying your backyard and
Mhm.
doing nothing except harming the ostriches, the more ridiculous, the more sinister, and the more wrong these forces look. So I think that is something that I really think we have to emphasize. The cost of this operation, and whatever the hell they want to call it, uh, the cost of this crime, I'm going to put it that way. The cost of this crime is probably $100,000 a day. And I don't think that's sustainable, especially when we need cops looking for liquid meth at the Vancouver ports that we're sending to New Zealand and killing people. And nobody wants to talk about that either. That this is misdirecting police forces to a peaceful, law-abiding
Yeah.
farm
Yeah.
instead of doing their job. And I think this is something else we have to emphasize, that this is unacceptable. This is
It
not
is.
acceptable in a country like Canada.
No, it's not. It's not acceptable. Even what happened to Jim Kerr here, absolutely unacceptable. No matter how the mainstream media wants to paint it out. He did a live and he filmed himself going around the blue fence, which we've been told is, we can't go around the blue fence. But what this shows is this Canadian Food Inspection Agency is pushing really good people who have been supporters for so many months, pouring their heart into this, pushing them to do things that they would never do. And it was literally just pushing grain under the fence to the animals that are starving. And here he was arrested. And so, it was a heroic action because, in his heart, he was doing the right thing. And everybody was like, well, he didn't cross the yellow police tape. He didn't do this and he didn't do that. And he should have never been arrested. We shouldn't be in this position to start with. Number two, we shouldn't have starving animals. Number three, we shouldn't have supporters that feel like they got to break the law to push grain underneath the fence. And number four, you're right. Here it is. He should have never been arrested, because then we have video footage of the police doing the exact same thing, going around the blue fence that he did. Why aren't they charged? Why are they going around that blue fence? And, we just really have to stick together right now. And that's what I think it's really important. This agency is operating with different regulations. We need way more clear mandates, clear rules. They need rules. I think, let's just go back to, they need some rules. They don't have any.
Resolve to resist, and we can do it together.